Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sam, and we're going to be doing the weekly watch list review for the week ending in Friday, June 26, 2026. So I just finished making the video for the folks in the premium room, the Mastering the Trade room, and we're looking at a couple different things. Next week has some bullish seasonality going into the 4th, but the charts themselves are not as conducive to that bullish seasonality that we're expecting. Right now, going into next week, you do have the SPY in a double neutral condition. So you have the weekly and the daily chart both in neutral conditions and very wide and relatively large volatility inside of these ranges. So one thing that I was looking for was a potential trap that was set as early as today in the S&P and basically market wide that could take the market higher into next week, but I am looking for a potential issue after that. Now, the bullish seasonality is a pretty good contributor to why I think next week will be bullish, but I do want to really strongly stress that this is a low conviction call because of the difference between a market that looks like this or a market that looks like this or looks like this, or all of this, compared to what we have now, which is that. And this caution boy right here, and his friend, the bull trap, which are not good signals. Okay, so that's what we covered in the premium video. I wanted to spend some time with you guys on YouTube so that we could cover some good picks that I see that still have good alignment going into next week. So let's start off with a trade that we had in the room yesterday that we got out of today because it went straight up, and that is LEVI. So I do still think that LEVI here has some juice. I think that this should be bought on a pullback. At this point, right up 75 is a little hard to chase. Fortunately for us in the Mastering the Trade room, we picked it up yesterday. And I would be looking for 1247 here on LEVI, ideally on a pullback sub 1200. Buying the previous breakout right around 1183, I still think is completely fine. I did put in a new trade in the room today, and that is an FTNT. So this is one that I just entered today. And ideally looking for a continuation breakout here based off the 4-hour as well as the daily squeezes. So I was doing a little bit of work and I was looking at different sector ETFs to see what had some alignment. And one thing that came up was the Cybersecurity ETF. Now, we already have a working position in the Mastering the Trade room on PANW, Palo Alto, but I decided to go ahead and pick this one up as well, looking for a 4-hour as well as a daily squeeze into some of these upper targets right here, right around 155 and then right around 160 on FTNT. Pretty clean setup. I do like it, and that is a new position for us as of today. I bought the 160 calls for July, and that's done on purpose so that I can be in and out ideally on a fast moving squeeze. A little bit off the beaten path here is going to be Levi's, and I do like this one as a continuation breakout. This one came up on John's AI a scanning indicator that he has. He has an entire indicator that's built from AI, that's built from his knowledge base, but obviously is able to do 100 times the work because it doesn't get tired. So this was one that came up. I traded it today. I already got out. I don't really trade LEVI all that much, but I am looking for a continuation breakout on this, or I would be above 25. I think it would have to be held through the report in order to really pay. Another one from that same report is going to be NBIX. So this is one that I would love to have traded in the room, but it's not liquid. So that's the one thing that's preventing me from trading it. But I love the setup. I love the sector. Tons of vibrancy in biotech, tons of vibrancy in healthcare. I think this kind of fits the bill. Perfect squeeze, perfect scores, perfect breakout. I like this one as well. Kind of in that same vein, but in a different way, is going to be TEM. So this is going to be medical AI as well. I would need a pullback on this one to buy it. I would like to buy it as close as possible to, well, as close as possible to 50 would be great. But I would take 53.5. And on this one, I think that this is one that's setting up. It has a ton of squeezes. It has a daily squeeze, a 2-day, a 3-day, a weekly squeeze. I think it may even have a monthly squeeze. And this one's a little bit different than what I would typically do with you guys, because normally I just look to, basically my go-to trade is FTNT, right? Like I see a 4-hour squeeze, a daily squeeze, max bullet chart. I go out of the money. I try to catch that pop, bang, bang, in and out within 2 days, try to make 30 to 50%. That's like bread and butter kind of trade for me. This one would not be that. This one is more of a buy it and just sit on it kind of trade because of the length of the squeezes as well as the potential for this really big breakout out of this base. So you have this really big base here, higher low, kind of a W shape here. And I think once you take out this swing high, you're going to, this thing's going to snap right to 63.5. And then from there, I actually think it could even go even higher. Obviously needs a good market, but this is the first green candle that it's had in over a year. I think it's been 18 months since it had a green candle. Today's the first one. I like this one a lot for a buy and hold and don't look kind of strategy. Let's see, anything else? One that I'm playing for a potential short squeeze. And again, these are always a little bit tough, right? I think if you're going to trade something that has a reversal pattern, I think it's probably better to do it in that TEM because that one's already showing a ton of vibrancy. This one is not yet showing that, so it's going to be a little bit more dangerous, but I do generally like the idea that this could short squeeze. It's going to be SOFI. Actually, you know what? Now that I mention it, maybe just keep this one in your back pocket. I want to bring you guys some really elite setups, and if I'm going to show you a reversal pattern that I think is worth buying, it's not SOFI. I don't mind SOFI. I have a position in the room on it. But if you're going to buy something that has a reversal pattern, this is the one to buy. So let me see if I can find us one more good thing here. Actually, let's just stick with the cybersecurity stuff. So if the cybersecurity idea is any good and that FTNT works, then I think something like Crowd could also work. Very tight squeeze, 4-hour squeeze. And to me, this looks like this is kind of a classic pattern of launch it, slam it into the cloud, consolidate at the top of the cloud, reset momentum, allow the cloud to come into you, and then take it up that way. Do I like FTNT more? I do. I like PANW more as well, so I'm kind of giving you every name in the space except ZS, but generally I like that idea too. So that is what I'm seeing. One thing that we covered in the premium video was that the Mag 7 index is actually at its respective daily 200. So I am potentially looking for next week to be led by the Mag 7, and that's not a very easy thing to say because, well, they've just been so bad. They've been kind of one of the worst parts of the market. It's been mostly healthcare and to some extent financials and industrials. But the thought process, and I'll leave you with this is the Mag 7 index, right? So it's Apple, Amazon, Avgo, Google, Meta, Microsoft. I threw in JPM for some diversity, NVIDIA, Tesla, and Taiwan Semi. And they kind of crashed into this major support zone here. Right at the red line is the 200 daily. Magenta line is the anchored VWAP for the year, right? So this zone is incredibly important for this instrument. Now you can't trade this, but it does give me information in terms of what these stocks are doing. And my thought process is the first test of a 200 after it's been broken and retested will typically try to hold and go up. Now, my secondary bias, which we can probably wait until next week, but I'll spoil it now. My bias is that we can bounce off of this level initially, but if we retest it again, I don't think it will hold. And I think there's a very good chance that the Mag 7 could come back down here to the March lows, right? But one thing at a time. And next week does skew bullishly, and I want you to keep an open mind that the parts of the market that have been the worst, which ironically are the most important, biggest companies, could actually bounce off of this key level. The bounce could be actually quite large next week, and then something more calamitous might happen after that. Now, where I really feel comfortable, I'll say one more thing, where I really feel comfortable in telling you is these setups are much more conducive to day trading, right? I started the video by showing you the SPY and showing you that it's double neutral, which it hasn't been in a very long time. Most of the time it's been bullish on every time frame, pretty much. This is the first time that it's like double neutral and really volatile. So where I really feel comfortable in kind of planting my flag is in telling you that in that particular environment, the biggest edge is in day trading. Yesterday, the Nasdaq dropped 1,000 points in 25 minutes. That's used to be an entire month, and it happened in 25 minutes. So where I really feel comfortable is in telling you that in neutral markets with high volatility, the opportunity and the edge is in day trading. But for those of you that are mostly swing based, keep an open mind as to some of the picks that I've shown you, and also keep an open mind on this Mag 7 index, and I'll be sure to put it in the video description below. So click that, and as long as you're clicking on the video below, drop me a like or a comment. Both really help. And we'll come back next week and see how all these ideas did. All right, guys, that's my time. Thanks as always. I'll see you next week. Cheers. Hey traders, this is Sam with Simpler Trading. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you found the information in it helpful. If you did, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It really does help us out with the algorithm. And if you want to see us trade live with our own real money and be part of the community, come and check us out at simplertrading.com.